Okay, this is what I have in my hand here is corn. I can do this and I have these grains of corn which I use to cook what we call corn chop. That's corn and beans, porridge corn and beans. I can take it to a grinding mill, the same corn, and I have this flour which I can cook fufu with it, corn fufu. I can as well soak it in water for some days and I come up with what I call pap after grinding it wet. Does that mean pap, corn fufu, or this corn in its original form are different? They are all products of corn. None is more important because what this will give me is not the same thing that this form of corn will give me. What this will give me is not the same as what this will give me. So they are all unique in their own way. That means I should not think that one is more important than the other because they play their own roles separately. Thank you. From what we've just seen, pap and corn fufu are from the same thing, corn. Hello viewers, you're welcome to yet another edition of your favorite show, Chancier's Haven. Today we are going to be talking about another interesting topic. There is this old adage that says competition is the killer of joy, and I think somehow I agree with that. Rebecca Schreck in her book says we live in a culture that fosters competition. Especially parents nowadays, there is a lot of competition amongst parents. Some do it outwardly, some do it in their minds, inwardly. We have competitions from parents among siblings and competition from parents amongst their children and the children of their friends or children in the class of their kids. And this is a real killer disease that is slowly eating our society up. There are dangerous consequences when we get into this kind of competition. Not every child will be the same. These fingers are not the same. And even these fingers and another person's finger are not the same. Some are thin, some are fat, some are anyhow that they are. We don't have the same kind of kids. So comparing our children is really, really not good for their health, and it's not good for them in the future. I have someone here with us who happened to have been a victim of this kind of competition from wherever. I will not let the cat out of the bag. I would like to see hear from her. We have Delphine with us, and she is the founder of Me For Real, and she has been through what we call competition. I don't know where from. I will not say much because I would like her to talk about her experience. Hi Delphine.
Hi Chance.
You're welcome to Chancier's Haven.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Okay, so you started something, Me For Real, and I got interested in what Me For Real was really about. And while talking about Me For Real, I discovered that it has its roots from competition amongst siblings.
Right.
And amongst children. So I would like to know more about that competition. Were you a victim of this competition?
Absolutely. For me, it was a struggle growing up. I am one of 6 children and the second girl in the family. So when I was in my teen ages, I felt very invisible in the family. I was asking a lot of questions about my identity, my purpose, who am I, why am I even here? And I didn't have ready answers. My parents were amazing in how they raised us up to embrace values, important Christian values from very young. But there were some questions I had about me, my person, my identity, outside of them, outside of all these other things that I didn't immediately find answers to. And so in that struggle to find significance, in that struggle to find approval, I put myself up in competition with my sister. My sister is a very intelligent girl.
Okay, so this competition came from you. You put yourself
Yes.
up in competition
Yes,
with your
with
sister.
her. Yes,
Okay.
I don't really remember my parents ever saying, "Why can't you be like your sister?" or "Your sister did this and you didn't do that." But she just always seemed to have the right answer. She just always seemed to know the right thing to do. And I felt dumb and stupid all the time. So I thought maybe I should just imitate what she's doing. And so I put myself on that path and realized very, very quickly that in order for me to bask in her spotlight, I was going to need to outdo her. So I started trying to
To
compete.
outdo her, to compete
Yes.
with her.
Yes,
Wow. So this competition doesn't only come from parents.
right.
Hearing Della's story, it comes also from among siblings, depending on how the siblings are.
Yeah.
So who do we blame here? Intelligence, IQ, or what? Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you do this? How did you rediscover yourself, or what did you do to help yourself out?
This went on for a very long time. I mean, for a good chunk of my teenage years, I would think probably between 13 and 17. Probably even up to 19. I was just, if my sister went to school and studied sciences in secondary school, I went to school, I studied sciences. She went to school, did sciences in high school, I went to school, I did sciences. The good thing for me was that, and there is only so far we can go when we are trying to live a life that's not ours. I got sick, like physically, my health broke down. I still remember when the academic committee in my high school invited me and advised me to drop some courses. And so this competition within me, I had lost, like just by being invited to drop some of those courses. But I got very sick, like physically sick, to the extent where I couldn't really function, I couldn't perform, I couldn't do these things which I was trying to do, which were really intended to outdo my sister.
Wow.
And so it was actually while on a sick bed that it's almost as if I had a revelation. I don't want to know if I should call it that.
That, not to cut you short, that means this competition can actually cause your physical health.
Yeah.
And while she's the one who was competing with her sister, and it came from her, I just don't want to imagine what it would be like on a child who is compared to another child from the parents.
Right.
If a parent now compares this child to, oh, you're not as smart as your friend there. Oh, why didn't you have the A's like this other friend had the A's?
Yeah.
Oh, why are you so dummy in this house? Of all of my children, you're just the worst one. Oh, why is it that everybody here is the first in class except you? Or you compare your children to yourself. You say, in school, like growing up, most parents were the best in school. We're yet to verify that. So, like, I never used to be like this. I used to be this way. At your age, I would do this, I would do that. And I can imagine how sick those children are already. Not physically, mentally, emotionally. And at least it's good that she rediscovered herself and had to come back. Let's hear more. What happened, how this journey went.
Right, so I was really, physically I had surgery, numerous surgeries as a matter of fact. I had peptic ulcer disease from a young age, and all of that is stress. It takes a lot of effort really to try to be somebody else. That's why comparing yourself with people is just such a futile endeavor. But anyway, as I was lying flat on my back in that hospital room, it's almost as if I heard a voice, and the voice said, while you are busy trying to be her, nobody is being you.
Wow, while you're busy trying to be her, nobody's trying to be you.
Yeah.
So when you're comparing with someone, you lose your chances of even having people who want to follow you, who want to look like you, because you can't influence anyone while competing, because you will always feel less of who you really are. Wow.
Yeah. So that for me was the wake-up call. That helped me see that even though I didn't like what I saw in the mirror, the person who made me saw value, saw potential,
Okay.
saw a place for me in the universe. And that's really what our uniqueness describes, because we all leave unique footprints in the sands of time, regardless of where we come from, what our experiences have been. In fact, as I have engaged on this journey over these years, I realize now that we all have to be the way that we are if our society is going to be healthy.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We all have to be the way we are. We have to be unique. If everybody did sciences, like in our society or some societies I know, the brilliant ones must do sciences. If everybody is a scientist, everybody is a medical doctor, then who is going to be that writer, that literature writer? Who is going to be that teacher? Who is going to be that person who sells in the market? So everybody is actually unique. If your shoes get bad, are you going to take it to a medical doctor to repair? So that's why we have shoe menders and shoemakers also in our time. This is really important, parents. Please, let's take note.
Yeah, so that really put me on a journey. It's a journey that I'm still on today. I think I'll be on this journey for the rest of my life, and it's basically this journey of self-acceptance, of self-loving yourself and embracing that which you have. Because it's not until I started looking in the mirror and trying to tell myself something else that I began to see potential, and these things gradually just started creeping up to the surface. And my life, it's as if I found new freedom in life that has made more meaning.
You talked about self-acceptance and rediscovering and all of that. What would you say to a parent who has just discovered that he or she was actually comparing their children to other children or siblings, or preferring one over the other? What advice will you give them to help that child, given that the child is still small and is already going through this kind of trauma?
Parents, stop it. I mean, it's killing that child. And at that age already, children generally internalize whatever goes wrong around them, even things that are not their fault. That's why you see children at a certain age, if their parents get a divorce, they think I'm being bad. If somebody is hurt, oh, I did something wrong. If something goes wrong, so already the child, by virtue of their developmental stage, is having all these things happening in their head. When you, who is the significant other that the child looks up to, confirms that notion in this child's mind that they are the problem, you just might have sown seeds in that child's life that will lead her to live a substandard life for the rest of her life.
A substandard life, that's not what I want for my children. And I don't think you parents, you want that for your children. And we want to find out what Delphine now is doing, because I don't think you look like someone living a substandard life, given who you are now. Yes.
Really, so what I do now, like I mentioned earlier, my sister went to school, did sciences, I followed suit. Those who know me know that everything I'm doing right now has literally nothing to do with sciences. It's all art inclined. Me for real was born out of that journey and has to date helped so many others embrace themselves, discover their uniqueness, embrace the potential that God has given them. So on the one hand, I try to help others. I walk alongside of them, show them just how amazing they are as they are, and then in that process, show them what the Lord has put inside of them, which they can use to make this world beautiful. Because the other element of it is, if I'm not being me, I'm robbing the world of something very special.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you're not being you, or if you parents are not helping that child to be that child, you're robbing the world of something. Because I believe our Creator brings everybody here for a specific purpose, a specific reason, and let everybody fit in their place. Don't force one child to be the other child. Don't mistake it for a child who is lazy, and you're trying to encourage that child to study hard. There are other ways by which we can encourage our children to work hard. It's not only by comparing them to other children. So parents, I call on you today, let us quit comparing our kids to others. They are from your womb, all of them, but they must not be the same. They must not look like what you want them to look like. And let's not try to live our lives through our children. Just let them be who they are, and let them live their ages, let them live their world, and some of them actually reflect only what we give to them. So we call on you to do that for our children. I don't know what Delphine, she's an expert in all of this, what she has to say to the parents out there.
I mean, you just touched on something which was going to be my next comment to parents. Don't try to live your life through your children. And the fun is, a lot of them do that well-intentioned, you know.
Yes.
So a parent, for instance, who when growing up always wanted to be a medical doctor, and for some reason the family couldn't bring that dream to pass. In their minds, becoming a medical doctor is the best thing that can happen to anybody. Today they have children and they want these children to go to school and become medical doctors. There are children I have worked with, and I find that even their academic performance sometimes is linked to what they are, who they are. Because who we are, we have like these different kinds of intelligences, like scientists show us today. And when what we are studying, for me, I know that that is so true, because I still remember the first time. It wasn't until university that I went into the social sciences, and my first class in sociology and anthropology, it was as if education took on new meaning. These were things that I resonated with at a deeper level, and so learning them wasn't a struggle for me. It aligned with the curiosity, the natural curiosity that I already had, and so it made studies that much more interesting, all the way now to a terminal degree that I have. It's always felt as if I'm having fun and being graded for it. And so every child is intelligent if you accept them for who they are.
So parents, study your children. Get to know who these children are supposed to be. Della, in her part, went for sciences. It's only later on in the university that discovered that she's actually supposed to do the social sciences, or she's supposed to get towards the social aspect and not the doctor aspect of sciences. And you see, the real her, me for real, as she would call it, the real self came out, and now she lives effortlessly to do those things. We see children struggling, stressing, getting sick because they want to get those grades. Why? Just because they're doing what they don't like, or what is not actually what they're supposed to be doing. So we have a responsibility. Go to that your child and try to find out what that child actually wants. Find out how that child should grow. Find out some little things. In one of our episodes, we're going to talk about this, how to find out those things about your children. And then you would know that you have to let those children live their lives. Thank you very much, parents, and we hope that you learned something today. If you have not liked, if you have not subscribed, if you have not shared, why not share and let someone else also gain from these things we are learning daily. Thank you so much, Della, for making it a date with us at Chancier's Haven, and we'll be right back some other time.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.